Sunday, March 31st. Okay, so we're wrapping up the last day of the month with the moon in Sagittarius energy. We will see the moon go void, of course, at 8:17 p.m. We lock in the Capricorn energy just a few minutes into the day, Monday, April 1st. So that's a very interesting dynamic, seeing as, of course, we're going to kick a brand new month off with the moon in Capricorn energy, anchoring us, grounding us, having us focus on building new structures, new foundations for our long-term goals. Of course, there is a April energy forecast that you can go ahead, take a listen to, where I give you all the highs and lows of the month ahead. And of course, there are zodiac forecasts for you to download or take a listen to if you are a member of Patreon. Again, mapping out the energy of the month ahead. We have to stay ahead of the game. So I am going to recommend, if you haven't done so already, to download your Aries season e-guide. Even though we're switching up months, we're still very much in Aries season. We have many energy shifts that we have to go through before we are going to conclude Aries season. And of course, because we are moving into a brand new month, that means that there is a different focus, a different vibration, a different lesson. But first, we have to wrap up March. And of course, wrapping up any kind of cycle, there's an added pressure. There is a review, if you will. If you need to go back, take a listen to the March energy forecast in order to figure out how it is that you align with those energies. Just a refresher and a reminder of what it is that we were supposed to be accomplishing and learning throughout the month of March. Definitely go ahead and take a listen to that. So with all of that being said, there are 9 different aspects taking place here today. All 9 are involving the moon, which means that this is a moon day. This means that we have another day to emotionally refine, emotionally align with a new truth, new mission, new meaning, new purpose, new perspective on where it is that we would like to go from here. So the moon in Sag going to make a very uncomfortable aspect with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings in this Taurus energy. Now, Jupiter rules over the Sag energy that the moon is currently in. And because this is not the greatest type of interaction, instead of focusing on where it is that we have opportunities for growth, for healing, for evolvement, instead of standing in our optimistic, confident point of view, we are going to be a little bit closed off. We're not feeling as optimistic and confident as we normally would. We are not really thinking about the opportunities to grow and evolve and actually move forward. Instead, we're getting caught up in the finer details. We're getting caught up with a little bit, I'm going to say, of discomfort in us being able to actually come up with solutions to some of our current standing problems. And so Jupiter does tend to magnify whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And right now we're kind of scatterbrained. We're unfocused. We're having a hard time really plucking out the silver linings and plucking out the positivity. But nonetheless, we have a whole day to get in a different mood, different attitude, and therefore different perspective. The moon is then going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Chiron, the wounded healer, in this Aries energy. This is going to be good for us because, first of all, it's fire on fire. And what does fire do? Well, first of all, it helps us burn through the cords, the attachments to the past, to the old version of self, to the old realm and reality. And as we burn through said cords, we are regenerating, realigning, recalibrating with a new perspective, a new version of truth, especially in the way that we're seeing ourselves. We are essentially building ourselves back up in a very strong, very positive way. We are focused on the quote unquote weaknesses that we claim that we have, and we're trying to flip the script and actually make them our superpowers. Again, this is about really understanding that the new version of self, that new identity with the positive qualities and characteristics, the empowering energies will come forth under that new moon, total solar eclipse in that Aries energy. So we are definitely building, aligning, and redefining who it is that we are, who it is that we have the potential to become, and we are definitely seeing ourselves in a much better light. The moon is then going to make a very tough interaction with Uranus, the great awakener, in this Taurus energy. So Normally, if this was a positive interaction, we'd be gaining some clarity. There would be an aha moment, there would be an epiphany, we would see something from a different set of eyes, we would be open to trying new things. But right now, we're a little bit more closed-minded than we normally are in this Sag energy. Again, there's a lot of confusion trying to kind of iron out the details of what this new chapter, what this new version of self, what this new want, need, and desire actually is. And so we're a little bit confused with this energy. We're a little bit, shall I say, stuck in the fear, the doubts, the insecurities that our egoic narrative spitting at us at this time, trying to keep us in a state of paralysis so that we're not growing, we're not evolving. We're not going to sit in that very long because the moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Jupiter. Again, Jupiter rules over the Sag energy, so this is going to be very intense. And because this is a positive interaction, suddenly we are seeing the challenges, we are seeing the fears, the doubts, the insecurities as an opportunity to grow, to evolve, to heal, to override the egoic programming and conditioning that has us stuck in a funk and really in a state of paralysis, not really knowing where to go, where to grow, and how to get there. So this particular interaction is going to restore our hope, our faith. This is going to definitely push us in a different mood, a different attitude, where we're feeling a little bit more optimistic and confident about said circumstances. We are starting to see the bigger, broader picture. We are also starting to see the power that we have to actually create our own destiny, our own reality. And in that kind of mood and attitude, we are gaining a little bit of excitement on what the possibilities are and what is still yet to come. The moon is then going to get into the boxing ring, square off with Venus. Venus is the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She is sitting in Pisces energy, trying to go with the flow, but also doing a deep dive, a purge, if you will, in her affections, in her emotions, in her self-worth, in her self-confidence. We are unpacking the old emotional pain and trauma from previous situations and circumstances while healing, transforming, aligning with new wants, needs, and desires. Of course, that Pisces energy is the last sign of the zodiac, so Venus is just making her way through her particular chapter through the zodiac wheel. But emotionally speaking, we're kind of, I'm going to say, stuck. Now, the moon in Sag really wants us to be optimistic and confident, standing in a new truth, standing in a new mission of purpose, dreaming the biggest dream possible. However, Venus, because she's kind of unpacking some of those heavier emotions from the past, we're not as futuristically forward in our heart space as we would like. We're still kind of dealing with the reality check, the harshness, if you will, of where it is that we've had a change of heart, therefore a change of values, therefore a change in priorities, and therefore realizing who and what now needs to stay, now needs to go. So again, probably a heavier heart activation. I am going to recommend you take a listen to this week's Ascension forecast. If you haven't already, we talked about the pressure on the heart space, on the chest space, and some of the, I'm going to say, physical ailments that accompany those particular Ascension symptoms. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Mars. Mars is the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger. He is also in this Pisces energy, trying to wrap up his time throughout the zodiac wheel. And again, Mars in this Pisces energy, trying to kind of build and cultivate this inspiration, the motivation, the passion, the desires in our inner realm, getting emotionally, intuitively, and spiritually in alignment with the new mission, with the new quest, with a new purpose that, of course, is going to kind of check off the boxes of fulfilling a new meaning, a new mission for us to pursue. The moon interacting with Mars in this way is, again, adding to that fire, adding to that excitement, whatever emotion we are using to fuel the fire within ourselves, definitely getting an extra boost of energy with this particular alignment. We are feeling inspired, we're feeling motivated, we are starting to understand the path, the plan, the strategy that we are anxious to take action upon. And because of that, because this particular chapter sitting in between the eclipse energies is about getting in alignment in our inner realm, this is definitely going to put some serious pep back in our step. The moon is then going to interact with Uranus, this time in a much better way than earlier on in the day. This is bringing clarity. This is bringing in an aha moment. This is bringing a brand new perspective on what needs to change, what needs to transform here in our physical realms in order for us to be happier, for us to have more fun, for us to feel safe and secure and stable. But we recognize and are more open to, with this particular energy and aspect, that we have to try something new. We have to adopt new methods, new ways of doing things. If we continue to do the same old, we're only ever going to get what it is that we've already got. And again, many of us have realized that that is not fulfilling us at this present time, which means that we have to open our heart space, open our head space to actually see what it is that we could do differently. The moon is then going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves in this Aries energy. And again, heads up, this is the last day that Mercury will be direct. We are going retrograde here, April 1st. So our heart space, the moon, and our head space, Mercury, they're on the same page. They're working together. They're collaborating. We have this Aries energy that Mercury's in that is thinking about the short-term actions that we could take to bring to life some new ideas, what we could do to initiate a new chapter, to jump into a new situation, a circumstance. The moon and Sag, of course, dreaming the biggest of dreams, really over-exaggerating sometimes. Our ability to jump into something new. Again, newsflash, we're not really jumping into something new. We're just trying to align with it in our inner realm. This eclipse energy doesn't give us as much power and control to jump in, to initiate, to bring something new to life as we would like or prefer. But we are starting to get on the same page, mind, body, and soul. And that is the key factor for manifesting. So we're kind of getting prepared here in this eclipse tunnel so that when the eclipse comes to pass and we're thrown into Taurus season, a building season, we know exactly what we need to do, what we have to take action upon, and where it is that we actually can make a start. So the last thing that we have going on here today is the moon and Sag getting into the boxing ring, squaring off, creating tension and conflict with Neptune. Neptune is in his place of power in this Pisces energy. This rules over our dreams, our imagination, our intuition, our, I'm going to say, mystical fantasies, and equally, in not such a good sense, our pain, our trauma, our shadow work from our past. And so we're getting into the boxing ring, we're squaring off because it's overwhelming at this point. And we do have a tendency with Neptune in this Pisces energy, because we are hypersensitive, because we are picking up on the subtle energies of the environment around us. We could be overstimulated. We could have so many different options, so many different ideas, so many dreams and visions that we're kind of percolating on, trying to sort through the variables, the options, the opportunities, if you will, that we just check out, that we just are just pressurized. Our brain is not working correctly, that there isn't as much concentration and focus as we would prefer, that our intuition isn't coming through as strong as we would like. And because of this, we get overwhelmed, we check out, we avoid having to deal with all of the pressure in our headspace, in our heart space, and we begin to kind of just live in la la land. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing to live into la la land. However, we're going to take a little bit of a negative Nancy dive with this particular interaction. We're not going to be as optimistic, as hopeful, as wishful, as dreamy as we would prefer. And because of that, we're really going to examine where it is that some fears, some doubts, some insecurities, some shadow work needs to be done before we are going to be in alignment with this new goal, with this new vision, with this new dream. So again, that was the last aspect that the moon and Sag is going to make before going void. Of course, we sit in that void until about midnight. And as soon as we shift into April, into Monday, we are going to have the moon shift into Capricorn energy.